Alright guys, finally made our way to a Club World Cup. Let's just make the most of this opportunity. It's going to be tough. We've got a Saudi Arabian team up first. They've got some big names, Vardiol, Baji, Zabangi, Pedri. Okay, I don't want to be overawed by that. Let's just play a game and see if we can pick up just a bit of a result. And then maybe we can go back to Deportivo Guadalajara and give ourselves a chance of making our way into the second round, okay? They may have lots of money, but we've got more heart. Let's show it.
Party in the streets and the city's on fire.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 132 of the New Zealand Builder Nation here on Shaun Does FM with both the All Whites and Cashmere Technical. And coming up today, it's our first trip to the Club World Cup with Cashmere Tech here in 2037. And we're going to do a bus trip to the Bernabeu in Madrid before we take on Al-Hilal from Saudi Arabia in our group opener. So if you're looking forward to that, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But at the end of last week, had the draw for this competition, had a signing in the works, and also played a random game in the Southern League against the Dunedin City Royals. So if you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. First bit of news off the back of that, going over to our squad. He signed for us. Thiago Almada is a Cashmere Tech player up until he retires, which he thinks is going to be the end of this year. We'll try and convince him maybe to stay on for one more year, but as you can see, still a really good player. And in terms of what he's done so far already, pretty good. 3 games, 4 goals. Did miss a penalty in the most recent one, but his first game picked up a hat-trick. He looks the real deal. Does Thiago Almada, as you'd expect in Southern League games, seeing as he's come from Newell's Old Boys and Rangers before that. So a good signing for us there to hopefully help us maybe pick up some results at this Club World Cup. If you're wondering who is in our group at this competition, apart from Al-Hilal, we've also got Deportivo Guadalajara from Mexico. When we look at them last week, I thought that was probably the most beatable team we had in this group, and also Flamengo, the, I think, 3-time in a row Copa Libertadores champions. Al-Hilal, they won the Asian Champions League prior to this tournament. So there's 3 Champions League winners in this group, and the team who aren't, Deportivo Guadalajara, will just check on them and see if they have won the competition in the last little while. You'd imagine they have, otherwise not too sure what they're doing here. CONCACAF Champions League, they won it back in 2034, so a wee while ago now there for Deportivo Guadalajara. Hopefully we can pick up a result against them. Otherwise, going to be a bit of a tricky Club World Cup for us, I think, because the other 2 teams did look pretty good with the Saudi money at Al-Hilal and Flamengo being the Copa Libertadores champions. But in terms of our squad going into this tournament, thankfully, no injuries at all. Nice, fresh team. And that was helped out by the fact our most recent game, we took on Methven in the Chatham Cup 6-1 win. And before then, pretty convincing wins in the Southern League. Those games that Almada played over the Coastal Spirit, Parkland United, and Christchurch United does feel like going a bit more attacking with our tactic here at Cashmere Tech. Has helped us just be a bit more dominant in those last couple of games. Hopefully that might give us a chance of picking up some results here at the Club World Cup. It's probably a silly idea. We're going to stick to what we're using here at Cashmere Tech, the Gegenpress, which is a bit more attacking, seeing as the players know what that is all about. Won't change too much, because that will probably just lead to some poor performances. And also, off the back of that last episode, we did play the last of our World Cup qualifiers with the All Whites, 6-0 win over New Caledonia, and we have booked our place in the final for the World Cup qualifiers. There you can see the goal scorers from that game. George McDonald grabbed one in the second half, and also Chris Jones actually did miss a penalty. But we are going to be taking on Papua New Guinea in the final of that competition over 2 legs. Should be making our way to the World Cup, I believe. That is in 2038. So that's what's happened off the back of the end of last week. But now it's time for us here to focus on the Club World Cup. The addition of Almada does mean he comes in over Lorenzo Janssen. As you'd expect, that free kick taking and set pieces in general, he is superb at. So hopefully that might help us in a couple of these games that we do have coming up. But first up, we'll just play the one game today and then see what we do tomorrow, if we do 2 games in one episode, or if we actually got a chance of making our way into the knockouts. I dare say we'll get grouped, because we're Cashmere Technical with 2-star reputation, and the teams that we're taking on are quite good. And starting off, the reigning Asian Champions League holders in Al-Hilal, 4-star reputation. their key player Rooney Baji, a couple of other really good ones I've got, Josko Vardiol and Ilya Zabanye, as well as Pedri, Steve Cooper in charge, but still a pretty good team we'll be taking on here out of Saudi Arabia, the Asian champions. So hopefully we can find a way to hang with them, because I dare say Flamengo will be the strongest team in this group. You can kind of see why I said Deportivo Guadalajara might be the team that we do target at this competition. Hopefully we can pick up some money as well, because we have hit another wage budget reduction here at Cashmere Tech because of the finances. That was about 8 grand in the good before we signed Thiago Almada. It's gone down to minus 5k. We're only paying him just under 3k a week. So that's been a big reduction. Hopefully we can win some money here at the Club World Cup and try and help those finances, which are not very good at all. But to be fair, do think you need to go quite deep at the Club World Cup to actually make any money out of it. So hopefully we can do that. But some pretty big teams we're taking on here might be easier said than done for this one. Before we get stuck into this first game at the Club World Cup, it's our first time over in Spain, and we start off at the home of Real Madrid. It's time for a bus trip to the Bernabeu. And as with any bus trip where we do have to travel to go there, we are going to start off here by looking for a hotel in Madrid. This one's relatively close to the ground itself, and it does look like a pretty nice place, this one. It's got the highest rating nearby with the most reviews. We're going to stay here at the Hotel NH Collection Madrid Euro building. Bit of a mouthful, but it does look pretty decent. On the website, the rooms do look a bit better, as you are about to see. There it is. I think somewhere they've got a VIP section, which we'll definitely be staying at, seeing as this is a FIFA tournament. Also, it's a pretty blimmin' nice looking swimming pool / spa area they've got there. Definitely was a big factor in me choosing this place over some other ones, but there you can see the VIP level. Not too sure about the beds with the funny benches on the end of them, but after that, they do get a bit better looking, the rooms. So I think these are the ones that we'll be staying at. Those rooms do look a lot nicer. And also, once we make our way down a little bit more here, you can see free Wi-Fi, air conditioning, which we'll definitely need coming from New Zealand, gym spa as you saw before. That's all the stuff we need here with a football team. So we're going to stay here. Apparently also dogs and cats allowed. Hopefully no cats, because cats are just pests, but dogs are okay. But let's make our way now and see what this bus trip is going to be for today's episode. And as you can see, it's only a 4-minute one, quite close to the Bernabeu, and being in Spain, this should be one we can do entirely. Only 1.5 kilometers that we do have to travel, staying off right near the hotel. Let's just zoom in back on that, because quite a nice spot considering all the food options we've got nearby. There's some sushi, there's lots of seafood places. I saw a bass one earlier. That's probably a good idea. While over in Spain also, there's a grill up there. Starbucks if anyone wants a coffee from outside of the hotel. So a nice little area here where we're staying. Let's get started on this bus trip on this road here. I'm not even going to try and pronounce the name of it, because I'll butcher it, and no one wants that. I'll probably do that enough to players in the Saudi team that we are about to play. But there we go, making our way from the hotel itself. But the view from the outside doesn't look that great. Does look like it might need a water blast or something, or some moss mold and gunge or something to get rid of some of the dirt from there. But let's make our way here down this road for a little bit before we take a right hand turn, going past some of the nearby restaurants and whatnot. I do think that might have been the seafood one, something marina, that would make sense. And over there somewhere there's some other options, a Lazarin, whatever that is, and something Damien, which is an interesting name for a restaurant or a cafe or whatever it is. But we'll make our way here down the road a bit more, going past all the buildings here in Madrid, and soon there's a right hand turn. And to be fair, one of the few turns that we're going to have to make on this bus trip on our way to the Bernabeu at the Club World Cup. And to be fair, I think most of the teams at this Club World Cup will have a bit more coverage on them than we will here at Cashmere Tech. And Google Maps is going to send us here down a road that I'm not sure a minibus would fit down, but we're going to have to do it anyway. We're going past the restaurant here. That is Cumbres. No idea what's there, but it is quite highly rated nearby somewhere that you study. So quite interesting there. Might be good cheap grab for the students, or it could be quite fancy as well. Might be a bit of a tapas bar. But we'll keep going down the road here as long as we need to. Very narrow road, as I said. Might be tricky stuff here for the minivan on these quite narrow streets. It does look like it's only a one-way street. Hopefully that's the case. Otherwise, could be an accident coming up here on this bus trip. Going really past the dodgy area of Madrid, it looks like here, because this is a very narrow road. Let's just see how long it lasts and what else we get to see on our way to the ground, because currently not too much. There's a sign for something Cuzzle, that might be a plant shop or something, not too sure, but let's keep going here down the road a bit more, but can't really see too much down these narrow streets, especially with these high walls nearby. Might be a bit of street football going on nearby and behind those, but we'll keep going down the road here, and thankfully eventually does start to widen up here, and I think we'd be going that way. Take a bit of a right hand turn. Indeed that is the case. When I stay on the right hand side of the road over here, Shaun, you're not in New Zealand anymore. Let's just keep going down here a bit, hopefully get a bit more to look at now. We've made our way down the extremely narrow street over there in Madrid, and coming up shortly going to be making our way around the roundabout. Let's just see how we get around this. I want to go around the big cherry picker that for some reason is in the middle of the roundabout, and then we go straight through here, and as you can see, that is the Bernabeu itself. It hasn't taken us too long to get here. It might even be under construction still in these photos. Indeed that will be the case, because it was from December last year. I think the Bernabeu has been under construction for a fair while now, but there you can see the outside of the stadium, the home of course of Real Madrid, the absolute kings there of Europe today. They get to see the kings of Oceania, albeit Auckland City still have the most Champions Leagues in the save. We're only 4 behind them. Hopefully can get that record off them before this save does end. But there we are. We've made our way to the Bernabeu itself. About to make our way, I think, past the club shop here. There it is, I believe, over on the right hand side. So nice little short bus trip for us there. Unfortunately, a bit of it was down quite a narrow street, which did mean didn't get to see too much there of Madrid. There you can see near the stadium, there's a subway. Did do pretty well for the tourists, I dare say, making their way to watch Real Madrid. There's the club shop and the tours and all that sort of stuff. One of the main entrances there to the ground, but it looks pretty similar all the way around the outside from what I can tell here. So let's have a look at the inside of the ground. And seeing as it has been under construction quite a bit lately, the Bernabeu, a lot of the photos actually were just of the road nearby in the middle of the pitch. So it was a bit weird, but eventually I found one. It's a wee bit old now, but we'll do it with our purposes for this video. But here is the Bernabeu, big Coliseum over there. It does remind me of some stadiums that we've been to at previous World Cups in this save, but big ground for us here at Cashmere Tech, probably the most prestigious one we've been to so far in the save, to take on Al-Hilal, the Asian champions. Hopefully we can pick up a half decent result and give ourselves a slight chance of making our way out of the group. And here are the team sheets for our first game at the FIFA Club World Cup. First up, us just one change from last episode to our best 11, Almada and Pajanson. For obvious reasons, we signed them for this tournament. They are Al-Hilal. They are going with a 4-2-3-1. Interestingly, Guardiola in defensive midfield, but a couple of big names there in that team, definite favourites coming to this one. Hopefully, we might just be able to pinch a point or something off them in this game, and that could be quite big if we want to try and make our way into the knockouts. And just hitting the 20-minute mark in this game, and surprisingly so far, I've actually been the team on the front foot. We'll just get Sam Clark here to ease off tackles while I'm blabbing on. But as you can see, pretty good start for us so far in this game, but about halfway through the first half, still no highlights, 0-0. And we'd almost made our way into the last 5 minutes here of this first half, and eventually we do get a highlight here. Unfortunately, Al-Hilal are on the ball so far. No shots on target for them. We've definitely been the better team in this game based on stats, but unfortunately, no reward for that. That could be costing. Our ball over the top here, and Nonto does get in behind a shot. Big deflection there on that one, and it does beat Cifuentes, who I thought still should have probably kept it out. Not too sure how it's got past him, but unfortunately, they haven't done too much so far in this game. Have the Asian champions in Al-Hilal. It's just a long ball over the top with our high defensive line. To be fair, Nonto, too much pace for Arce, who gets a good touch on that, but still, Cifuentes got down for that, but couldn't quite keep it from beating him at his near post. So unfortunately, that makes it 1-0 there. At the stats, we're still looking like the better team in this game, which is quite surprising. Diop's also picked up a yellow card and debuted him out there struggling on a 6.4. So a couple of changes needed, I think, at half time. But to be fair, we're not doing too badly based on stats, so I don't think we need to panic too much. We'll bring on young Wilson for Debenham, give him some game time at the Club World Cup. Also, Jack Honey can come on for Diop, and Clark will replace him with Turner, I think, the more natural replacement in that position. We could use Lorenzo Janssen as a deep line playmaker. We'll just save him up in case we need to take off Thiago at his old age these days, in case he does start to struggle. But a couple of changes there at halftime. But to be fair, we're not playing that badly, but unlucky with that goal we conceded with that deflection. But it's 1-0 to Al-Hilal. And just coming up to the hour mark in this game, and to be fair, still quite dominant stats-wise, but Walid Khalid coming back from injury is struggling on a 6.4. Sal Cato's been pretty good for us so far this season. Let's bring him on. I think Louis Evans might be the other guy that would be threatening to sub off in this situation, but still 1-0 behind, which feels a bit harsh. We'll be off the back of that sub. There is a corner, Anderson off the post, but thankfully Zoomers sticks his foot there between the legs of a Al-Hilal player, and thankfully puts that one away top left corner of the Australian and makes it 1-1. And based on stats, I think we deserve it. Looks like this attacking mentality we're using here at Cashmere Tech is going to work for us at the Club World Cup, which is a bit surprising. Good header there from Anderson, beats colour, comes off the post, and thankfully Zoomers can poke that one home to make it 1-1. Only a few minutes later, Almada, another corner, and Anderson this time gets it on target. So a couple of brilliantly taken corners there from our star man for this tournament in Thiago Almada, and we're 2-1 up over Al-Hilal. A quick fire double, set pieces, proving quite important, as I'd hope would be the case when we went through signing this guy at the end of last week. A couple of good routines there, and we go 2-1 in front with only 20 minutes left. And just about to make our way into the last 10 minutes of this game, another free kick here, which Almada will put over the top. For some reason, Wilson was trying to get to that one, but Keller can come out and claim it. Still, stats-wise, definitely been the better team in this game. Hopefully, we can hold on and pick up a win. Unfortunately, that header goes away there to Al-Jahani, and now over the top for Nonto, who is in behind. Big chance there. Thankfully, Cifuentes comes up with a massive save. We've still got one sub we can make late on in this game. I do think taking off Louis Evans on that 6.6 might be the smart move. Now, for some reason, taking an absolute age here to see this corner, which Rooney Bargi is going to take. To be fair, so far, we've kept him pretty quiet. Just been Nonto who picked up the goal from that deflected shot in that one highlight we saw in the first half. Still waiting for something to happen here before this corner does take place. Hopefully not going to be something too important. In fact, now I can see why, because Pedri is making his way off the field with an injury. So actually going to be playing against 10 men for the rest of this highlight. The former Barca man coming off the field here at Real Madrid, no doubt getting a couple of jeers from the crowd because of that. But Bargi puts this one into the mixer, thankfully. Anderson there beats Vardiol in the air. Must be better than these days. Good old Tim Anderson, the Bowden Barrett twin, having a good game there at Cashmere Tech. Now Greenidge starts to make his way forward down the left-hand side, but a poor pass there looking for Almada. Still 2-1 in front, but off the back of that, I think it's time to make our final sub. Just see if it helps us hold on here. Corona can come on for Louis Evans alongside Tristan Turner. I think those two, through playing for our rotation team, do have a quite good combination, a nice spring links that could help us out late in this game. But still, being the better team in this one, and a late free kick, so we're about to make our way into 4 minutes of added time. Salcedo heads that one into Pedri. Thankfully, we keep hold of the ball. Hopefully, that's what we do for the rest of this game. And this would be a massive 3 points, and Salcedo gets in behind here. Big chance to make it 3-1, but that one goes wide. It did come off the post there. I think it beat Keller, which is surprising from a tight angle, but we make our way into 4 minutes of added time. No highlights. That completely changes our plan for the rest of this tournament, because if we can beat the team that we were targeting to beat in tomorrow's episode in Deportivo Guadalajara, I think we could already book our spot in the knockouts of this tournament, considering next up Al-Hilal, they take on Flamengo, the Copa Libertadores champions, and no doubt they'll be a lot better than us, but that is a massive result. The champions of Oceania defeat the champions of Asia, a 2-1 win in our opening game in Madrid. So a massive result for us there in our first game of the FIFA Club World Cup, and that definitely changes our plan, I think, for the rest of this group stage. And Flamengo, as you'd expect, they picked up a 3-1 win over Deportivo Guadalajara. So hopefully, if we beat those guys in our next game, and Flamengo can beat Al-Hilal, that will book our spot in the knockouts with a game in hand. That could be quite big for us here at Cashmere Tech, especially with our financial situation. That could be quite nice indeed, and also allow us to rest some players before we do get stuck into the second round, which I didn't think I'd be saying today, but that's a heck of a result to start things off. And also while we're here, we've actually gone forward to the end of the first match day in this competition. So Group A, the teams who won those games, Chelsea 3-0 over Ajax and Supersport 4-1 over Al-Shabab. I dare say that's a bit of an upset so far. The Saudi teams not doing too well here at the Club World Cup. Group B, the European teams of big wins, PSG 6-0 and Man City 5-0 over Colo. To be fair, they did get a quite early red card. Group C, Liverpool, they picked up a 4-2 win in the European clash over Freiburg and a draw between Wydad Casablanca and Al-Ittihad. So again, Saudi teams so far struggling a little bit in this competition. Group D, Athletic Club picked up a 7-2 win in their home nation, albeit over the Columbus Crew from the MLS and River Plate. They beat Inter 1-0, so that's a bit interesting, that result there to start off Group D. Group E, that was us. We'll skip that one. Group F, Porto started off with a 2-1 win over Junior FC from Colombia, and Barcelona 4-0 over Toronto, as you would expect. Down to Group G, RB Leipzig started this one off with a win 5-3 over Al Ahly and of Egypt, and Club America just do enough to beat Botafogo 1-0. And down to Group H, the final group here at the Club World Cup, Real Madrid a 5-0 win over AS Tunis, and AC Milan, they beat Vélez out of Argentina 1-0. So that's how the groups look off the back of the first game here at the 2037 FIFA Club World Cup. And in terms of us at Cashmere Tech, in a much better position than I thought would be, but to be fair, I think we deserved that win based on the stats, but a couple of set pieces there just after the hour mark. Thiago Almada playing a big hand in both, as did Tim Anderson, got the goal and also helped set up that first one, which Ezra Zumas thankfully did tap home into pretty much an open. Then we picked up a 2-1 win, and if we can beat Deportivo Guadalajara in tomorrow's episode, that might actually be the only game we come back for tomorrow now, seeing as we could make our way a bit deeper in this competition. That could book our spot in the second round, and also all of the group games in this tournament we are playing at different venues. So another bus trip tomorrow, we are going this time to the Estadio Benito Villamarín, which I've checked, that is the home of Real Betis. So we're going to do a bus trip there tomorrow, and also hopefully pick up a result against Deportivo Guadalajara, the team that I thought going into this tournament we could pick up some points against, and if we do, that could see us book our spot into the second round. But that will do it for today's episode. A big win there over Al-Hilal. If you enjoyed it, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well until tomorrow for the bus trip in Sevilla to the home of Real Betis, and also a big clash now that we could potentially book our spot in the second round with a win over the Mexicans in Deportivo Guadalajara. Thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.